Really, and it's about security. And whatever they do in Yemen, maybe we should, start looking further afield and thinking of the risks to Britain.
No, I don't think we should be doing that. Look, the government of the United Kingdom, when it comes to this question, is there a clear risk of serious violations of international humanitarian law? He said, based on the information we've got, Emily, he said, we don't think international independent investigation.
Do you think we can pause our selling of arms to Saudi and still expect them, terror, whether it's diplomacy, whether it's strategic alliances in the Middle East, would they still do that?
In the context of our failure to tackle Assad, in the context of our failure to reassure our Sunni Muslims...
Very much. Thanks for coming in. So, grammar schools back in the headlines again this evening after yesterday's accidental ministerial leak reinforced suspicions they were back on the government agenda. The Prime Minister was quizzed on the topic a little earlier today by backbenchers, many of whom would be happy to see their return. Nick Watt's here and has the latest. Take us through the committee meeting tonight then, Nick.
Well, we're learning that our new Prime Minister is a woman of few words, but she really faced into that rumble.
Well, Theresa May was pressed on another topic today, Brexit, as she returned to the Commons. She managed to hold off the questions from MPs and insisted she had no plans to reveal her hand prematurely. But she's likely to come under more pressure tomorrow from another quarter. Nick's still here and has a little more on this. Nick, what's happening tomorrow?
Well, I think what we can say is that tomorrow we'll see the preparations.
Nick, thanks very much for that. News now of fresh problems for the independent inquiry into child abuse. Newsnight has learned that the leaders of one of the main groups representing survivors of alleged abuse, a group who've been designated official participant status by the inquiry, have lost faith in it and will recommend to their members that the group abandon it. We'll be speaking to the group's leader in a moment, but first, Jake Morris is with us now. Jake, just how did this come about?
Emily, it was just over a month ago that we got the unexpected news that...
I cannot believe that Home Office staff members today, all these, will you recommend to your members then?
We have to recommend at this moment in time.
And other groups follow you. This could be the beginning of the end of the whole thing. Again. When disgraced boss Mike Ashley turned up in an inspection of a Sports Direct factory this morning, they frisked him and found a huge wad of cash. Nothing illegal about that, of course, yet somehow we're conditioned to find raw, ready cash a sign of the underhand these days, or at least something a little bit seedy. And now there are esteemed voices ready to make the argument that we, as a society, go cashless, or at least use less cash. A leading US economist suggests that central banks should phase out paper currency. But would it work? Lewis Goddell tries to figure it out. Well, there's a brave one right here. Ken Rogoff joins us. And Ken Rogoff, how do you actually see this working? Never actually use, and most of us never actually see. What's the point?
Well, actually, I mean, in the UK...
Ken Rogoff, that suddenly you've got the privatisation of money, that if I have wads of cash, I can keep them under the bed or do whatever I want with it. But as soon as it belongs in a digital structure like a bank or a society, then they can do with that what they want. Now, that is associated with wads of cash. If you open a suitcase and it has cash in it, you don't think, what a wonderful surprise. You think, what on earth has gone on here, right? There is that connotation.
No. I mean, I'm not denying that, like, what is money for? How do we design a money system that actually works for people?
Never actually address that question.
I don't think they're bigger quantitatively.
What about this question of privatisation? That money is a very public currency, I suppose, want of a better word. As soon as it becomes digital, you lose that.
Thanks. There's more and more research coming out, like system and how it works and the structure that underpins it. And I think that it's
round with money in this way that you destroy the value of it.
Three more.
We should carry it on, but we can't. Thank you both very much indeed. Alongside Watt, Faraday and Stevenson, the launch of an identical, expensive new rectangle that is missing a phone jack probably won't warrant its own set of commemorative stamps in years to come, which heralds the question of the night: if the brand new iPhone 7 is the best our leading inventors can do to excite us, have we reached the high watermark of innovation? Will it be downhill from here, or does the absentee phone jack signify greatness to come? Here's David Grossman. And that was David Grossman. It's almost time for us to go. Just one story, though, to bring you in the front sit for tonight. Tomorrow will be a very special day in the hearts of true sci-fi fans. It's the 50th anniversary of the first ever screening of the TV show Star Trek. Just in case you think it was just a TV show, then ask the staff at NASA or the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena how they feel. Ask any Western scientist or engineer involved in space and aeronautics. In fact, you don't need to. Here they are. Good night.